Hello, my friends. I'm Rachel Archelaus, founder of the Intuitive Art Academy, the person who sent you the email today. And I just want to say, whoops, I made the wrong time in the email. And Carrie and I are live here. I have a class at the time that I said I would be live. So we're live with you in spirit. Carrie and I are going to have the same conversation we would have had otherwise. I would love if you would comment and share your experience with us or reply to the email I sent you, because we would love to know if you were at the event, how are things going for you? Have you been able to implement a daily practice, or are you kind of failing like I did last week? Let us know. And if you weren't at the event, can you relate to this? Do you have a contraction after growth? Do you ever find yourself anxious when you were just like super happy? That's what we're going to cover today, and I'm excited to be here. Hi, Carrie.
Yeah, well, so I just want to, for anybody who's watching this like years into the future, or like, what is Rachel talking about? So we just came off, not just, has it been 2 weeks? It was like the beginning of December. It's now December 16th. So um, we just came off of, so when we say just, we recently came out of a 3-day live event that Rachel and I put on called the Aligned Up Level that was amazing. It was super powerful. So if you were there, you know what we're talking about. And we all just went through, like, we spent 3 days basking in the energy of the life that we want to create. And it was incredible and amazing. And Rachel and I were just sharing stories of some cool stuff that has happened in our lives since then. And sometimes when you up level, there's a little bit of a fallout. so, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So I don't know. Do you want to just tell your story, Rachel? What happened for you?
Well, first, I just want to say why that happens. So we always think of raising our vibration as the best thing you can do for yourself, right? And I agree. But what happens when you raise your vibration is, so you were here, let's say you've gone here, you are now attracting new, better opportunities, people, circumstances. All of this is being arranged for you. It's like you're getting the better version of what you had before, which is awesome. It's what we want. But you had a life here for a while. You had momentum here. You had attraction power here. And so the life that you are currently living in isn't really going to resonate with you anymore. And it might take a little time for you to be consistent here for this to catch up. And so people might annoy you. You might forget things that you were doing before aren't going to feel as good. And you might experience a little bit of anxiety if you're not aware of that process. And I am aware of the process, and I still felt a little anxiety because I was still doing what I was doing before the event, which was working fine then, but it wasn't working for me now. And so I realized, oh, okay, who am I now? What do I need now? What do I want now? What does my life look like now? And I was able to um, just live into where I am now. And we're going to talk about that, but I just want to explain the dynamics of it in case you're experiencing that. So what happened for me? Basically, I just said it. I'm not really an anxious person. I used to be. I used to have panic attacks, and I was on medication and all that stuff. But it's been a very long, like 20 years since that's been true for me. And so I don't really have stress. I don't really have anxiety. And when I feel it, it hurts. Like, it hurts in the body. It's very delusional thinking for me. It's like, why am I thinking that everything is going to be bad or wrong? Why am I afraid of things? And all of that comes just from not being in alignment with ourselves. When we're not looking toward our own connection, our own light, our own inspiration, things get really dark really fast. So basically, I was just doing what I was, what was on my to-do list before the event, and things I used to love, and teaching classes. I'd be in a class and I'd be like, I can't teach it this way anymore. Like, I can feel the up-leveled version of this class. I need to do this differently. And being live in a class and having that epiphany is a little awkward. So I had to tell my class, like, look, guys, I'm going to do this differently, but I obviously need some time. So over Christmas break, I'll get this all figured out and give it to you. And I think what I just want to say to you, whatever is happening, whatever needs to be different for you is okay. And you can honor it, and you can expect the world to honor it too. Don't get caught up in the fear of what other people will think, or your spouse, or if you need more time to yourself, or whatever it is that you need, you have created space for already. So along with your up level is like the up level of your environment and the people in your world. And so just be gentle with yourself, be true to yourself, find out what it is you need in the moment, and see the anxiety as a sign that you have, like, ascended a level. I think it's a great sign that you are in a new place and you just need to catch up with yourself.
I love that you use that phrase, catch up with yourself. And that has been so helpful to me in the past. And it's interesting you talk about anxiety because I didn't recognize. So I too used to be a super anxious person, and I didn't even know that I was anxious. I just thought, like, this is being an adult. Like, it probably started in high school, just being stressed out about school and feeling constantly insecure, but presenting as a confident, together, amazing person. Um, that, I think I just felt like disconnected from myself. And like many of you often fear, at least I hear from my clients all the time, this imposter syndrome, like part of you knowing this big dream that I want, this thing that I'm going for, like I feel it in my bones. And the other part of you feeling like, who am I to think that I can do this or have this, right? Like I lived there for a very long time and actually thought that's just what being an adult was, right? That it was like feeling like an imposter all the time, faking your way or feeling like you were faking your way through your life and being anxious and insecure about all of it all the time. Like that's what I thought. And then I started doing this work, right? Then I started living in a different way, and it happened slowly. But I'll tell you, Rachel, every time I up leveled, it was scary because like I would have a big epiphany or take a big step forward or do something. I could feel myself hitting a new energetic level, and I would feel good about it for a day or a few hours or whatever, and then the shit would hit the fan. Like my life would explode, and it became like kind of a scary thing. Like, do I even want to up level? And I want to talk about this because I know there's an easier way. um, and it became this like, oh God. And I remember talking to you about it, and you would say, if it's showing up and you don't like it, you don't want it, and it feels uncomfortable, right? It's showing up for you to look at it and release it, right? It's showing up, basically what you're saying, it's showing up because you're ahead of it now. It no longer feels good or normal. And that is when I could like relax a little bit and recognize, okay, so by the way, fast forward, I no longer have anxiety like almost ever, like you. And so now when I feel it, I feel it feels so much worse than it used to, right? And I go, oh, it's almost like I feel grateful because I'm like, I used to feel like this all the time. Like this used to be normal. And now I recognize like, oh, there's just a shred of something that I need to get ahead of. I'm going to stop talking because I feel like you have something to say, but let us know in the chat, like if you're resonating with this, if this has been your experience, because we really do want to help you find even more ease to the point where you can look at your anxiety and be like, oh, there you are. Go ahead, Rachel.
Yeah, I love you sharing that and bringing up the specific things. Like, as a society for the people who like and value growth, which is not a large like I think I saw a statistic was like 2% of the population is interested in growth. But you're here, so you are. A lot of us are like dogs on a bone when it comes to like the idea of clearing our blocks, right? Like, I gotta get those blocks out of the way so I can succeed. And it's like a favorite pastime. But what Carrie is saying, it's so much easier than that. I never actively look for a block because I don't need to. It's not my job. My job is to feel good. My job is to focus on what I want in a way that feels good. It's to follow inspiration. It's to put myself in the best possible place to receive what I want, which is always a good feeling place. And if we're focused in a way that's highlighting what's wrong, I need to remove this thing because it's in my way. We're focusing in a direction that's not allowing. So we're creating the block right there. The only problem is that we're focused on the block and reorienting.
Which is why,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, Rachel, that's why in the past my life would explode, right? Like I would feel like I'm doing all this work around like clearing my money blocks or whatever. Like I would be there and then inevitably like there would be a huge repair bill or there like it would be amplified. And while everyone in the growth space says this is your moment to lean into your truth and all of that, and I did it for years, there's a better and easier way.
I love you bringing up that example. Yes, I used to experience all of this before I realized it's so much easier. So basically, let's go back here. You were here, and of course, there's obstacles in your way. Of course, you have limiting beliefs. Of course, you have momentum in a direction you don't want, right? Of course, there are boulders in the stream, but the water finds a way around it, right? That's you. You're on a stream and you can find your way around it thanks to your higher self. So that got you here because you were here and here and here, probably, not necessarily, but you've probably grown in your lifetime. And you do that by following your inspiration, by choosing what feels good. You just naturally swim around your blocks and limiting beliefs and all of that. And then you focus in a good way again, in a better way, and you raise your vibration up even more. And what was here, all the limiting beliefs, the blocks, they're no longer in the dark. It's like you open the closet door. Oh, wow, look, I didn't even know all that stuff was in there. You'll realize what your limiting beliefs were because you no longer have them. You naturally transcended them. You transcended the blocks, the limiting beliefs. And so now you'll be able to see them like, oh gosh, I didn't even know that was in there. Oh my goodness, of course I was here because that's what was in my brain. But you don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to do anything about it. Even Carrie, when she was saying this, she said to look at it and release it. You don't even have to release it. It's released. It's gone. You've transcended it, which is why you can see it. So you can say bye, and it won't affect you. Now, maybe there's another layer, right? Maybe it's like going to come back in a different way, but it's none of your concern. None of your concern. Your only really effective tool at getting what you want is find a better feeling place, which could include calibrating, right? That's a little bit more attention on the negative, but it's not clearing, it's finding a better feeling place. So finding a better feeling place will help you transcend those limiting beliefs and those blocks in a way that focusing on them never could.
I have a story to tell. So I had an introductory call with a new client. I think it was this week, maybe it was late last week. I don't know. And she told me, I picked you. I wanted you as my coach because I have all these limiting beliefs that I have to work on. And, she had filled out her intake form and she was like, I've done this program and I've done that program and I've worked with so and so and I've worked so hard on my limiting beliefs. And like she was just beating herself up right over it. Like, I know I need to do this and I can get to the bottom of it. And I watched it happen. And so I want to know if this is happening for you guys in the chat. Like, I watched her when I described exactly what you said. Like, you know what? We don't need to worry about your limiting beliefs. And I didn't use the boulder in the stream. I used, like, you know what? I was thinking that way, but I'm like, whatever is there, we're just going to go around it. Like, it's not a big deal. We're just going to bypass it. We don't need to like look at it. Why would we spend so much energy pushing this boulder out of the way when we could literally just walk around it? Like, and I watched the relief. Like, I watched her up level happen just in hearing that. It was like, oh, thank God. I don't have to focus on what's wrong with me. I mean, it was immediate relief. So I'm really wanting to know if this is happening for you as you're watching, as you're hearing this. You do not have to remove your blocks. So to use Rachel's analogy of the water, right? Like, if enough water, whatever big boulder, I'm thinking the Grand Canyon or something, whatever big thing is in the way, if enough water moves around something, it eventually erodes it until it disappears. Now, hopefully it doesn't take eons for you guys, right? But go with the analogy, this idea, like, the more you move around the block, like, suddenly it's not even there anymore. Yeah, and I don't even like talking about it as a block, but I know people do. So we'll go with that.
That's my thing too. Like, I've worked with someone for a few years now, and I said a block in a conversation that we were having in a group, and she was like, what did you say? Like, you never say that word. But that's really what a lot of people are used to hearing and thinking about. So I think what's really happening is, like, you have permission to feel good. You have permission to feel good. And that is the work. If there's any work, it's finding a way to feel better, finding a way to feel more relaxed, to feel more open, to feel more excited or optimistic, to feel more connected to yourself and your intuition, because you are not a person. You're a multi-dimensional source being that is as powerful as the universe. Everything's created the same way everywhere, whether you want to create a galaxy or you want to create a new parking space. It's vibrational. And when we're not living on Earth, we know this and we know how to do it and we're great at it, but we're a little in the dark here, and that's okay. And it's, if you imagine this power feeling like love, you can imagine that your higher self, your multidimensional self, is always pouring love at you. So, like, there's never a time to feel bad about anything that's happened or to blame yourself or to judge yourself. Everything's good. You're as powerful as the universe. Like, nothing can go wrong for you. And if you're as powerful as the universe, you can relax. And relaxing will help you naturally allow things in. Like, I was telling Carrie before this call here that I got a very unexpected payment from an affiliate link that I made like 5 years ago, and it just plopped right into my PayPal account. That was $74, which isn't, a million, but it's still $74. And I really appreciated it. And I didn't know it was coming. And, like, when you relax, when you are happy, when you're excited about the future, when you are tapped into what feels good to you and you're allowing yourself to go there, that is putting you in the pool of attracting everything else that feels good. And so these things can happen. You know, money can come in and find you, old friends can find you, like new acquaintances. Like, it's everything that you're looking for is available to you if you allow it to come in. I like to think, like, I don't believe in an animated person who's God, you know? If you do, I totally get it. That's fine. But I like to imagine God sometimes as that, like, human-ish being. And I like to think, okay, if I have the same powers as God, which I feel like we all do, right? Would God ever be worried about money? Would God ever be worried about what other people thought of him or her? Like, what would God do in this situation? It's kind of like the thing I like to think about sometimes, especially with clients, to help them see themselves as a powerful creator. If God can create anything at any time by matching its vibration or even just going like that, what would God do in any given situation, right? That's you. So I would imagine that if there was a person God, that it would be unlimitedly happy because it has access to absolutely everything possible, could create anything, any situation, any scenario, any person. And so if you're ever feeling frustrated, just ask yourself, what would God do? And do that.
I like that was going to make me yawn. I've never thought of it quite that way, um, but I like it. But as you were talking about it, what came to me is um, we have a friend, Jean, who turns everything into a game. And so that's what I was feeling is like, oh, right. If we're saying what would God do, like this is all if I put myself in God's shoes, right? This is a fun creation. This is a game. This is like when you were a kid and you played make believe and you were like, okay, I'm the mom and you're the kid and you're going to do this and then I'm going to say this. And you're like, wait, hold on. Like, actually, I'm going to, like, let's play that over again. Um, and I like that. I like that idea. And I feel like we're deviating a little bit from dealing with enough levels. Like, I kind of want to bring it back to that, but I just want to say it is all in the power of your perspective, right? If you can look at your life as one big creative, playful experiment, right? As right, which is kind of how I think God would be looking at it. Like, I'm imagining my very basic like mind is going to like God playing with us in a dollhouse or something, like you can choose how you react, how you show up, how you choose to put meaning, where you choose to put meaning, like how you choose to look at things. And I know for me, that has what has been helpful in recognizing I was here, now I'm here. Like I just did that. And this feels amazing and super good. And from a really detached place, I've been able to notice, ooh, this thing showed up that I didn't like, and oh, that's weird. That thing showed up. Like it hasn't been this. Um, I feel very connected to myself and very detached from the things that, even from the feelings that are coming up for me. So during the aligned up level, actually, like I was feeling so amazing, like things were so good, and actually, some kind of weird stuff showed up in my life during, like some weird, like that's like uncomfortable, that's bizarre, like that's not where I am right now, kind of stuff showed up. And it was like I felt like I was able to not, I could feel it in my body, right? So I knew it was there, but I was also totally detached from those feelings because I was also here. Does that make any sense at all? Can you put words to that, Rachel?
Well, you were able to observe it without, like, making it yours, without bringing it in closer.
Yeah. and just have the perspective of like, oh, that's that. That's it. It's showing up. Clearly, there's a little bit of that still going on in me, right? And maybe that's the way I would talk about it. Like, I didn't need to figure out what block is causing this or what, just like, oh, hey, there you are. It's a good thing I'm here now. Right? It was much more of that. And instead of letting, I think this is what it is, instead of letting this uncomfortable situation pull me in or like become this theme in my life or this thing that I had to deal with, it was just like, oh, hey, I see you're showing up, probably because I just moved, right? Bye. Like,
Yeah, because otherwise you go back. Like, here and here, you're here now. Things might feel amplified here because you can finally see them. You can finally feel them. And if you go back down to investigate, you go back down. You go back down. You don't need to. You're here. These aren't of any concern to you whatsoever. You don't have to trace them to your past. You don't have to find out the cause. It's all done. It's all done. It's all done.
and
Yeah.
oh, go ahead. Well, I was just gonna say it forced me to like choose my focus,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was sort of the thing. Is like, I'm gonna find what feels good, actually. Like, I'm recognizing this is, maybe it was comfortable. Sorry, you can hear my dog making all sorts of noise. This was normal, and maybe it wasn't comfortable, but it was normal. And my new normal is somewhere else. And so I'm going to choose to focus on my new normal because that feels better. And in the doing of that, whatever it was disappeared because I didn't let it pull me back down. That is, I think, what I want to say.
Perfectly said. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we've talked about the pitfalls, right? So how do you overcome that? Like Carrie was saying, keep focusing on the good, keep focusing on what got you there in the first place, and try to make it a more deliberate part of your day. If you aren't already, meditate every day if you can. Listen to white noise, focus on the noise, zone out is really all you're doing. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you can. And if you can make a list of things you appreciate, if you can focus on doing the things that feel good in your day, if you're doing things that don't feel good in your day and you still have to do it, focus on other things while you're doing it. What brings things to us? Our vibration. What can we control? Our vibration. So it makes more sense to me to put the most effort into making sure I have a vibration that I want than anything else. Above all other actions, that's my job as a human being creator. And when I do that, things go really, 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 really well. I have an exceptional life, and I know that. And it's not luck, and it's not because of anything outside of me. It's because I focus in a way that feels good, and I continually allow myself to go to where I want to go. And that's all that it takes. And I just want to say one more thing about this. And I've been thinking about this a lot, about how we look at the people who are extremely successful in our world, like Olympic athletes and actors and like big business people and the happy ones I'm talking about. Well, really all of them, but I only really focus on the happy people, but they make a choice of where to focus in their life. Those jobs take exceptional effort, right? People are in the gym 6 hours a day, 5 hours a day, 7 hours a day, training for their sport. They're working on lots of things. They have to be very present with what they're doing. And anyone in a really high position who's doing really well has chosen their focus. They own their focus. And I heard this Olympic athlete talk about how it's very selfish to be a high level athlete because you have to have your schedule and your eating and your coaches and all of this stuff. Your life is built around what you want to do. And I think we can all give ourselves more permission to be like that. It doesn't have to be all consuming, but we need to own our focus and have it be okay, whatever we need to do in order to maintain what we want. And there are lots of role models for that, maybe just not in like a daily life kind of thing, but you can adopt whatever is helpful to you.
And I want to say about that, so I come from that realm, right? Okay, so I'm going to try and draw this analogy from the Olympic athletes as well, but talk about what are you committed to? Like, what I think that I talk a lot with my athletes about living an excuse-free life. And all that, and I totally believe that excuses they're just lies that we tell ourselves, right? They're like things that we say to ourselves to make ourselves feel better or whatever. But ultimately, like I talk to them, and I say, like, listen, you can be great if you want. Like, it's all about, like, what is here's what I'm getting at. What is the life that you want? So for athletes, like they have a stated, I want to run this fast, or I want to qualify for this, or I want to, right? And they put their focus there. And like, it's my job as a coach to help them, to release them from that if that's not their focus, right? Like if they don't want to be this amazing athlete, they're actually here because it feels good to be around their friends and they just want, right? Like, then cool, right? Then awesome. Where do you want your focus to be? And I think the interesting thing with us as we become adults, right? And I started talking about, like, I just thought anxiety was adulthood. Like, as we're grown ups, we still have permission, not just permission, like an obligation to ourselves to focus on what we want our life to be. Like, if you want feeling, every person I talk to, maybe it's because it's who I'm attracting, right? But every client that I have, ultimately, they describe what they want as a feeling of freedom, to do what feels good, to make them, like, they talk a lot about, like, type of clients that I get usually have businesses. So they're talking about, like, I just want to have enough money so that I can blah, 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 right? And when we get down to it, they're like, I just want to be able to, like, be at peace. I want to be relaxed. I want to be able to choose to do whatever I want. And I'm like, awesome. Let's put our focus there. Let's do that now. like, like that's what it comes down to. And so I didn't know I was going to get so, like, call to action-y, but, like, you guys, this is what our life is about. It is about embodying the feeling of what we want, putting our focus on what matters to us. So if we're going to say that, being happy matters to us, put our focus there. If we're going to say, oh, feeling worthy, all I want is to feel like I'm enough, well, then, girl, put a focus on your enoughness. And I feel like we need to tell them about our group, Rachel. I feel like that has to happen now.
Okay, go for it.
Well, so, I mean, this is what I do in my life, right? Is I create spaces and groups and energies, and I really put I don't know if box is the right word, a container. Yeah, thank you. I create a container, a safe place for you to dive deeply into your focus, for it to be okay for you to want whatever the hell you want. and not just for it to be okay, but what I do really well is for you to like, you kind of timidly state your scared dream or whatever it is that you want, and I can take that and run with it. Like, I am an amplifier. I am somebody who can reflect you back to you and be like, oh my God, I'm even more amazing than I thought, and I can do anything. And this is why, you know, as a cross country coach, right, I've had successful teams. It's not because I'm this great, you know, magic worker of like giving you a training plan, right? It's because I help you become the person who succeeds. And Rachel, well, I mean, Rachel like sprinkles fairy dust, but maybe Rachel, you can do a better job of explaining like your gifts and talents, and how you show up.
Sure. So I have a really good handle on how we create everything in our world. And I basically always have. I was born like this. And over the years, I've learned how to talk about it and how to break it down for people and how to say it in a way that people understand and how to do it gently so that it feels good. And the biggest, I think, well, two things. I'm living in a vibration of this, of having what I want, and of expecting you to get what you want, and of seeing you as your real multidimensional self, capable of anything, no blocks in your way whatsoever. And so when we're in a group together or spending time together, you calibrate to me because I'm not going down. So that alone helps people understand and grow and experience amazing things in their lives just by me being me and us being together. And the other thing, I get a lot of feedback about, like, people finally understanding how all this works because I can say it in a way that you'll understand and be able to integrate it into yourself. Because this information is all over the place, but sometimes it doesn't land for us in a way that we can really grasp onto. And so those are the things that I really provide, but also, like, making money from being you is something else that I'm really in love with. You can expect all the abundance in the world by doing something that feels incredible to you, something you do anyway. And that's really what I like steering people in the direction of. Like, it might take a little bit of time for that to fully take over, but that is what's possible for you. You can do exactly what you want to do in this world, and the money will be there. So, yeah.
She's really, really good at that. It did take me a little while, but oh man, yes. So we've created a group, and Rachel, I don't even remember the link to get people to the group, but we've created a group where you can.
Intuitiveart.com/membership.
There you go. Intuitiveart.com/membership, where you can experience both of us living in our gifts and talents and what we do best. And I think the juiciness, like the amazingness, comes from being connected and surrounded by a community of other people speaking the same language, with the same focus. I mean, that's why, if you don't know, I'm all about creating a culture of success. I'm all about team success. I actually think it's kind of hard to feel successful. This might just be me. It's hard to feel successful in a vacuum. And so having a group of like-minded, focused, free, open-hearted, amazing, multidimensional beings around you is a huge gift. A place where it is safe to grow into you in whatever the heck way you want. And just supportive, powerful, open-hearted people around you is amazing. So if that sounds good to you, if you're experiencing, right, if you found this video because you're like, yeah, I'm up leveling, and right, that's sort of where we started, how to deal with an up level. And you need support, ongoing support in dealing with your ongoing up leveling. You need to
And it
find us.
never stops. It never stops. You're always growing if you're focusing in a direction that feels good. It's who you are. The universe never stops expanding, and you're the universe. I'm also kind of feeling, and we didn't plan this, by the way, but it does feel really natural. Because this can be so jarring. Like, we went so high at the event for so long, and I know all of us felt it. If you want the event price for the group, I will extend it for, I guess, until Sunday night. So it's just use the code EVENT on the checkout page, and you'll get 30% off or 33% off or something like that. And yeah, just because I feel like it. And I just love the group that we have, and I love supporting people on their journey, and I love being surrounded by people who want to constantly feel better and better. And like, don't you want to be surrounded by inspired people doing the things they want to do in the world? Like, that's the people that I love being around. So yeah, if you're one of them, if you want to be one of them, definitely come join us. And you also get all the courses I've ever taught, except for the certification. So that's there too.
Yeah, we sort of skipped over like, oh yeah, and you also, but there's all kinds of goodies that you get. But I want to talk a little bit. I didn't know we were going here, Rachel, but I like that we are. And I want to tell you about a conversation that I had. Um, so this is an example of when you get aligned, how things work out. So there was a girl on our cross country team who was very talented and also kind of toxic to the culture. Like, she just didn't. She was a not a fit for the culture that I have created. And I think on any team, a hindrance to the success of the team. Like, that's my bias, but that's where she was. And yet she was this talented runner, and kind of a sweet kid. And you know, I cared about her. I didn't want to see her fail, but I was like, how do I make this work? Like, how do I make this work? And I had this secret wish that she would just sort of like disappear. Even though she was the fastest runner on the team, I like just was like, oh, things would be so much easier if she just wasn't around. And like, lovingly, right? Like I want her to succeed, and it is hard for me to find my way through this. And I remember having a conversation with her, and actually with her parents. She was supposed to be there and she didn't show up. And I remember having a conversation with her parents, and um, talking about, hey, this is what we expect from her. This is what we need from her. This is what it's going to take for the team to succeed. And I recognized in that moment, right, that our focuses were different places. It was a very respectful conversation. My focus was on building a great team, a supportive team. I have years and years of experience, and I know that actually, I'm not going to speak for every sport, but a girls' cross country team cannot be successful long term. Maybe a good race here or there, but they cannot have a culture of success unless everybody is on the same page and they actually feel connected and love for each other. They don't have to be each other's best friends, but they have to feel connected and they have to love each other. And her parents were like, that's not true. Her dad said, give me, like, because we kind of said, this isn't an all-star team. You can't just like show up on race day and be a part of the team. That's not what we're doing here. And just bear with me, Rachel, while I get there, because I'm eventually getting there. And her dad was like, I disagree. I think if you give me the 7 fastest runners in the state, I'll beat you. My team will beat your team. And I said, not over the course of the season. Like I had 100% confidence that like you, sure, for a week or two, and then your team is going to disintegrate. Your team is, somebody's going to get hurt. There's going to be conflict. They're going to implode. And my team will, over the course of the season, we will get you, right? We will beat you. So the reason I'm saying that is because it is about, right? The thing that I'm feeling no matter where I go, right? Open-hearted people in support of each other's dreams, of what each other wants, and a common goal, what we all want. We all want amazing lives. So with cross country, we all want whatever we declare we want. We want to go to the state meet. We want to win nationals. We want to whatever. But for the business groups that I facilitate, or the group that I have with you, Rachel, it is just about us being there in loving support of everybody living the life we want, right? And we're not in competition with each other. We're not, it is just a place where everybody is on the same page about how we want to live our lives. And I think I think it's missing in the world of high school cross country. And I think it's missing in this world of whether it's spiritual growth or business development or like personal growth, like it's missing. And yeah, I don't know why I'm talking about that anymore, but that was when you were talking about it, I was like, I gotta tell this story about like what it really takes to be successful is, you know, people talk about this in like wedding vows and stuff as well, right? Like, but are looking in the same direction, moving forward in the same direction. And you know, when I came to this space, I just felt so passionately that that's what was missing. There were lots of how to's. So many. This is how you do it. And so many people beating themselves up because they were they were following all the how to steps and they still didn't feel like they wanted to feel. And this is random, but I'm going here. I read a book a while ago, years ago now, called The Biology of Belief, but it like was a game changer for me because it said, you know, we used to think, science used to believe that it was the nucleus of the cell, it was the brain of the cell that caused its behavior. And what these experiments showed was that it's actually the energy that surrounds the cell that determines its behavior. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about team dynamics. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this group. It's like the energy that you're marinating in and that you're, okay, I'll stop. So that's just it.
I love that. I loved it when I learned about epigenetics too, because it just tells us that we're the ones in control of even our gene expression. And that's pretty huge. And I just want to say another thing about the group. It's not just the group even, because you're all coming in where you are wanting to go to a better place. And I'm super passionate, and Carrie is too, about helping you look in the direction that was really going to be effective for you, even when you want to talk about other things. And we're both really gentle about it, but we're also really adamant about it, about actually helping you get to where you want to go. And so we'll reframe you, we'll cut you off gently, we will lovingly scooch you in the direction that's going to be effective for you to get what you want. And for me, I never got that ever. In all the coaching I've ever had and all the programs I've ever had, no one has ever like really taken the care to point me in the right direction. Maybe they pointed me back to their course, back to their manual, back to their something, but never in the direction of me having what I want. I've had lots of coaches tell me like, oh, intuitive art, like, don't do that. That's never going to pan out. I'm like, hello, thank you. Glad I listened to myself. You have dreams, you have things inside of you that only you'll be able to really explain or feel or daydream about because it's in you. And you might not find a lot of support for that in the world if you start talking about it too soon, or if you're looking for others to back you so you have the confidence to go forward, you need to be your own cheerleader first. And we're really good cheerleaders for you. So, all right. I think well, we're kind of wrapping up now anyway, but yeah, you can feel already, if you're looking for more support in a way that feels good, actually gets you the results that you want, helps you create something that's maybe only in your brain at this point, helping you to, receive income from doing the things you really want to do, not focusing on the past, not focusing on anything that's not relevant to you getting to where you want to be. That's what we do.
And we're kind of amazing at it.
Really amazing. Yeah.
Rachel, I love that we went here, and I love that people are experiencing right now. You're like, Rachel's like, we're really passionate about it, and we're really like, she's so like, you can just feel the like, she's so very centered in her truth. Anyways, you can feel the way Rachel is passionate and the way I am passionate. Like, I'm slightly more animated and a little bit more forceful. But that's just how we roll. And it's great. It's great. And we hope our paths cross in one way or another. We hope that if you're feeling like you want to join us, especially now as we're moving into a new year and you're ready to just like make a commitment, like you're feeling like, man, I need it. And I want to live like that. And I want to be surrounded by other people living like that. And I get access to like practically everything Rachel's ever created. If you're feeling that, like intuitiveart.com/membership. And you said the promo code is what?
Event.
Event.
Awesome.
We'll see you there.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us for this live stream. We skimmed over the good part about these side effects of raising your vibration, but basically you get what you want. You get what you want, and it's effortlessly flowed to you because you're now matching it. And isn't it funny that it's harder to talk about the good sometimes, because it's like it's almost like there's no words. It's like, like it's just better. I feel better. I feel lighter. More things are available to me. If I was to quantify like all the monetary value that's come to me since the event, excluding revenue from the event, excluding anyone who joined the group or coaching or anything like that, it would be worth like $28,000. That's pretty good, right? So it's not just like work that pays off. When you make yourself a match to the vibration of feeling better, and that can be anything, you're going to get really, really good stuff. Like the grab bag for that is really, really good. And it's going to contain a lot of things.
I just want to say that the side effect of reading, like we were sort of talking about like the side effects. I was sort of talking about the side effects, like the when you hear the prescription commercials on TV and they're like,
yep,
they talk about diarrhea and like, right? But
possible death. Yeah.
Yes. We were talking about that for most of the time. And you're right, not talking about like, it's the cure that you've been looking for. It's the thing. Because when you raise your vibration, your best life becomes normal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see a new best life.
Mm-hmm.
And then that best life becomes normal. And then you can see a new best life. And I just think that that's kind of hard to grasp until you're there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I say two things to myself all over and over since I started my business in 2012, the online part of it anyway. And that is, you don't know how good it's going to be until you're there. You can't know how good it's going to be until you're there. You can't know. You can't know how good it's going to be until you're there. You can't. I can't know how good this is going to be until I'm there. It's just that way. It's just that way. And you have to trust yourself and know that if you feel good now, you're going to feel good later. But also, life just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better. And it doesn't invalidate what you had before. That was great. And this is great. And this is great. And it keeps getting better and better and better and better. Yeah, that's what I got.
I wrote a word this morning in my journal. I wrote 2 words, and it was unconditional abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you and I have talked about those words before, but they just hit me this morning. Like that feeling of unconditional love, right? That feeling, like that's what raising your vibration is. It's unconditional abundance.
Yeah. You
Okay.
feeling certain that you are taken care of. It's such a good feeling.
Yeah. All right.
I know. All right. We're there. We did it. Thanks for watching, everybody. We really love you. I can't wait to see your comments and everything. And have a great day. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Carrie.
You're welcome. Thanks, Rachel. See you later.
See you soon. Bye.